Taking a live look outside on this gloomy and cool Friday afternoon. Definitely starting off the weekend on a chilly note out there. We've struggled to even escape the 60s so far today, and that's going to continue through the rest of the afternoon and then tee us up for a very cold start to our Saturday morning. I'll get you the latest on that and this first warn that we have in place for your Friday. That just means that we could find some scattered showers through the evening time that we're having to watch, because I know there's a lot of fun outdoor activities trying to get going today, with it being Red Friday, high school football, all sorts of things going on. So here's that first warn that we're looking at, and the reason why we have it in place is for this 50% chance of scattered showers. Now, it's not for all of us all at once. This is off and on rain that looks to pass by, but then maybe find a couple more showers before the day is done. But beyond all that, those clouds are going to stick around, and these cooler temperatures are a stark contrast to what we had when we compare things even just to yesterday. About 10 degrees cooler right now than where we were at yesterday. So let's take a look at live radar right now and what we're currently seeing outside, and then we'll go into the future and what we're going to watch for the rest of your afternoon and evening time. Here's past hour radar highlighting that cloud cover, but also those scattered showers. Now, the bulk of that activity is south of I-70 and does look to stay at that way for the rest of the day, but it's not out of the question that we find a couple showers north of I-70, including here in the metro too. We're going to have to continue to watch that area specifically very closely, because any rain there is going to be pretty inconvenient, again, with all of the fun things going on today. But as I mentioned, far to the south of I-70 is where the bulk of that rain is falling right now, and where the bulk of it has fallen already today. Now, accumulations have been very low, just a couple hundredths of an inch, which is a good thing. We're not talking about pooling water or anything like that, just kind of damp sidewalks, damp roadways, wherever that rain was able to get up and going. There have been pockets of more moderate rainfall alongside those sprinkles, that some of which we've seen here in the metro. But the rest of the afternoon looks to keep those moderate pockets to the south of us, kind of what we've already seen. So we're just watching this larger system roll through and trying to give us some drive-by rain as it does so, but we will be able to take those rain chances off going into late tonight. Now, that first warn's going to stay in place until 7 p.m. there. And then after that is when we'll take rain chances down to 20% and then scrub them off the board completely into early Saturday morning. But from now until 7 p.m. specifically, that's looking when we'll cash in on the highest coverage of rain, kind of similar to what we're seeing outside right now. A bit higher likelihood and coverage to find rain around that 3 o'clock hour, and then we'll taper it back down 5, 6, 7, and then take that first one off after 7 p.m. after Chiefs kickoff. So the rest of your watch parties are less likely to find rain as they are wrapping up rather than when they are starting off. So let's get you a look at this data that we have pulled in, and this is our high resolution data, and is doing a decent job at tracking this rain. Now, it's overdoing the coverage for sure. We're not seeing this much rain right now here in the area as a whole, but I like how it still shows how moderate pockets of rain are still possible through the next few hours. They'll just kind of pick up and then pick right back down. That more light to moderate rainfall is not going to last all that long, but it just is a possibility moving through the rest of your afternoon and evening. Just don't want you to be too caught off guard. If that rain starts to pick up ever so slightly, it will peter out very quickly. Then getting closer to the evening time, this model is still keeping some of that coverage northward towards I-70, towards the metro. Now, that very lightest green color that you see on your screen, I struggle to believe that that will even reach the ground. We're more so looking at those deeper greens and those yellows south of I-70, but again, in the metro, rain still possible over the next few hours, something that we are going to have to watch closely. Then once we get past that time, rain will begin to clear out from north to south, whisking it way to the south of our viewing area and our southern communities as a whole into early Saturday morning. So by then we will be dry, but until then, just very, very small rainfall accumulations possible. Up to 1/10 of an inch is what our most recent data is saying. I agree with that. I really don't think that we're going to be catching any more than that. But as I did mention, quick pockets of moderate rainfall possible before we dry out for the rest of the weekend. So just in review, this is why we have that first warn in place. Off and on rain, more and most likely south of I-70, but in the metro and just north of I-70, still possible that some light rainfall sweeps through there. So when the metro has the greatest chance of finding rain, that's going to be mid to late afternoon. So here in about an hour or so, and then until about 5 p.m., then that rain will slowly start to retreat southward, closer to 6, 7, and then onwards. And the great part about this rain today is that we're not talking severe thunderstorm potential. Thunderstorm potential period is very low, much less strong thunderstorms. So that's the good news here. This is more just inconvenient rain, stubborn rain that really doesn't want to give us a beautiful Friday, but the good news is that we will have a beautiful rest of the weekend, and one that's much warmer than what we're having out there today. High temperatures today, not able to reach out of the 60s for any of us. Even in north central Missouri, we're still talking upper 60s. Here in Kansas City, 67 degrees. Farther south you go, they'll hold on to that cloud cover longer and that rain longer, meaning that they'll be just a touch cooler in the mid 60s there. So that means if your Friday night plans take you outdoors, not a bad idea to have a light jacket on hand, especially if you're going to be sitting in the stands, Friday night lights, high school football, watch parties, out back on the patio. Know that it's going to be a little cool out there, very similar to what we're having right now, actually, with where our temperatures are currently at, just cooling off instead of warming up like we are right now, down in the 50s by that 10 o'clock hour. So a bit of a brisk night, and then an even cooler start to our Saturday before we have just a beautiful rest of the weekend. So that's wonderful news. Once we clear today's rain chance and first warn, we'll then carry on with a dry, sunny, and warm rest of the weekend. Afternoon highs looking a bit warmer now in the mid to upper 70s rather than just the flat mid 70s. Plenty of sunshine, couple puffy clouds possible, but that's pretty much it. Now I do want to talk about Saturday morning in particular because it's going to be pretty notable. Check out these low morning temperatures. This is where we're starting your day at tomorrow, in the 40s for all of us. Low 40s up towards Maryville and Bethany. So it's going to be a bit of a cool start, even cooler than what we found today. 46 degrees is going to be where we kick things off here in Kansas City on your Saturday morning. Now it's chilly and it's close to a record. It's going to take a lot of cooling to get us to the previous record for the coolest recorded temperature on a September 6th. That was 43 degrees back in 1988, 37 years ago. Now we're forecasting to take just above that, but if we dip even a couple degrees cooler than 46 degrees, then we're looking to set a record on your Saturday morning. So the rest of your Saturday morning, Saturday late morning, if you're head out to Old Settlers Day Parade, it's going to be cool. Might want a little jacket or just a light layer to start the day, especially because it will be in 40s to start the day. But by the time that parade's getting up and going, we'll be in the 60s, warming into, again, the 70s tomorrow afternoon. Just glorious rest of the weekend. I can't emphasize that enough. Security Bank 7-day forecast showing that for you very nicely. Into next week, we will start to find a warming trend taking us up into the 80s in the afternoons. That will be steadily low 80s and mid 80s and maybe even upper 80s by this time next week. Overnight lows a bit more seasonable in the low 60s. That's about where we should be for this time of year. So Saturday morning is going to not feel quite what we would expect for early September, but again, rest of the weekend just absolutely beautiful. Continue to stay tuned in with us and keep that First Warn 5 weather app on hand. There's a radar feature on there so you can see kind of what the rain situation's looking like near you. And just know that we are expecting a few more showers before this day is done. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday and weekend.